I'm my favorite rapper alive. Since my favorite rapper banned me from Shade 45, I wonder.
Then he starts doing a press run, basically, about Haley. I'm like, what the f?
He's not just a father, not just a rapper, and not just a producer. He's a straight-up career killer. For Eminem, rap beef isn't some rare event. It's like a full-course meal on his table. And when I say meal, I don't just mean it happens often. I mean he chews opponents up and spits their careers out like leftovers. The very first victim in this story? Yeah, it all started with this guy. It's 2002, and Eminem teams up with Dr. Dre to sign a hungry rapper out of Queens, Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent. On paper, it looked like just another artist signing to just another label, right? But this wasn't some ordinary rapper. This was the guy who got shot 9 times and lived to tell the tale. The same guy bold enough to drop a track bragging about robbing everybody in the game. And if that wasn't wild enough, he was already knee-deep in a war with Ja Rule, one of the biggest names in hip-hop at the time. Ja Rule definitely wasn't feeling 50 Cent stepping into the spotlight, so he came swinging at Eminem instead. He dropped a diss track called Loose Change, where he tried clowning him by calling him feminine and throwing weak shots about him being a bubblegum rapper. And honestly, the track had some heat. Ja could have stood a real chance in this beef, if only he hadn't crossed the line with one bar that changed everything.
You claim your mother's a cat and Kim is a known. So what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?
That single line lit a fire. Eminem had no plans to get involved at first, but as he later admitted, I heard him say Haley's name on the song, I lost it. From that moment, it was on. His retaliation came in the form of Haley's Revenge, where he didn't just bring smoke, he brought his whole squad, D12, Obi Trice, and even used his daughter's name as a weapon to strike back harder.
Haley, what do you want to be when you grow up, baby?
I don't know. But I don't want to grow up to be like Ja Rule's little dirty-ass kids.
Eminem didn't just clap back. He also made sure everyone knew Ja Rule was nothing more than a cheap copy.
If Pac was still here now, you could never ride with Ja. Nah, 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 nah.
From there, it turned into a full-blown war, with both camps firing off diss tracks for almost a year straight. In the end, M claimed victory, and the streets seemed to agree. Eventually, he tried to calm things down, but the damage was already done.
Yeah, we took the L.
Eminem and 50 Cent went on to dominate hip-hop for years, staying legends in the game, while Ja Rule's career took a nosedive. He never fully recovered, slowly fading from the spotlight. Not completely gone, but M definitely helped bury that chapter of his career.
I can't let a do me like Ja Rule. Never. I ain't even really f***ing with these rap dudes.
And here's the wild part. Ja Rule wasn't even the only one reckless enough to drag Eminem's daughter into a diss. Another man made the same fatal mistake, almost at the exact same time. His name? Benzino, the co-founder of The Source, one of the most influential hip-hop magazines ever. Then out of nowhere, the very magazine Eminem grew up worshiping hit him with pure disrespect. His classic Marshall Mathers LP, an album many call his best work, got only 2 out of 5 mics. That rating had M heated. And when his 2002 album, The Eminem Show, only scored a 4 out of 5, he lost it even more. To him, this wasn't about music. It was about bias. Eminem flat out accused Benzino of blocking him from getting a perfect rating just because he was white. And honestly, M wasn't pulling that out of thin air. Benzino eventually showed his hand when he dropped a diss track called Put Your Skirt Up, throwing out lines like,
A 5 mic giver, the Marshall Maggie Ripper. Better never let me see you with some juice, I'm gonna strip you.
But Eminem wasn't the type to sit back quietly. He clapped back with a string of vicious responses, including The Sauce,
Me out of my mics twice, I let it slide. I said I wouldn't hold my f***ing breath to get a 5.
and the legendary Nail in the Coffin,
F***ing desk at the source, butt kissing and begging motherfuckers for guest appearances.
a track many fans still say is his coldest diss of all time. That's when Benzino completely lost it, firing back with Die Another Day, where he went way too far, threatening not just Eminem, but his ex-wife and even his daughter's life. That threat crossed every line, and it sent Eminem into pure rage. He snapped back with Go to Sleep, a brutal track that showed he wasn't playing around anymore.
You're gonna see a demon unleashed in me that you never seen, and you're gonna see this gangster pee on himself.
The hip-hop community didn't rock with Benzino's moves either, but the man still refused to back down. Instead, he stooped even lower, digging up an old track from Eminem's teenage years called Foolish Pride. The song had offensive lyrics aimed at black women, and Benzino plastered it all over the source. If something like that had surfaced in today's era, Eminem's career might have been canceled instantly. But back then, the situation played out differently. Eminem faced it head on. He publicly apologized, explaining the track was written when he was just 15, right after a messy breakup with a black girl. And to Benzino's disappointment, the hip-hop world accepted the apology. In fact, fans and critics alike crowned Eminem the clear winner of the beef. That moment spelled the end for Benzino. He got fired from the source for abusing it as his personal weapon, and his rap career pretty much over, if it ever truly started. These days, when people hear the name Benzino,
what is the opposite of Benzino? What? A giraffe. Go with his neck, how the f is that? How can I go with something he doesn't have?
the only thing they remember is that he got crushed by Eminem. Lesson learned. Mentioning M's daughter is career suicide.
I don't got nothing against Eminem. Got nothing against Eminem. They can rap.
And yet, another one made the same mistake. His name was Everlast, a member of the legendary rap crew House of Pain.
Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin.
The year was 1999, and the beef kicked off over something almost petty. At a concert, Eminem didn't greet Everlast simply because he didn't recognize him. But Everlast took it as straight-up disrespect. Odd spark for a feud, but that's how the fire started. Everlast fired first with his Eardrums Pop remix, sliding in bars aimed at M.
I felt slighted by him at a meeting, like our first initial meeting. I tried to shake his hand and just kind of felt like I got egged.
Cock my hammer, spit a comment like Haley. A buck of 380 on ones that act shady.
Eminem caught it and clapped back with I Remember.
Dumbest thing that you could ever do. Let's ride a buck of 380 on those that act shady. Tell me now what you gonna do.
That should have ended it, but Everlast doubled down with Whitey's Revenge, where he crossed the line again with better run and check your kid.
He asked me like, yo, Em heard this record and he's just curious if you dissed him. And I was like, so he thinks, so he's taking notice of me all of a sudden, right? So I was like, my answer literally was like, well, what if I say yeah? And B-Real was like, well, he's gonna come at you. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
He called in D12, and together they dropped Quitter, a ruthless takedown aimed squarely at Everlast.
Figure you can diss me to jumpstart your career. I punch you in your chest till your heart kicks in gear. Talk about my little girl in a song again. I'ma kill you.
After that, Everlast decided to let it rest, claiming he had already said his piece. Years later, B-Real from Cypress Hill revealed that Everlast actually had a response ready for Quitter, but scrapped it, choosing instead to squash the beef before it spiraled further. Surprisingly, time healed this one. Today, Everlast and Eminem are on cool terms. Another rapper went at Eminem, and like Everlast, the beef still ended in M's favor. But Everlast wasn't the only one who walked away with his career intact. Enter the wild duo, Insane Clown Posse. The painted-face rappers repping Detroit were already local legends in the late 90s. And back then, Eminem was a nobody compared to ICP. It all started in 1997 when M had just dropped his Slim Shady EP. To celebrate, he threw a release party and sent flyers all across Detroit. On those flyers, he listed ICP as special guests. But here's the twist. They never agreed to it. ICP wasn't feeling the stunt, so they straight up refused to show. And M, he never forgot the slight. By the next year, he clapped back with Till Hell Freezes Over, tossing sharp shots at ICP. Then, in 1999, his life flipped. Dr. Dre signed him, his career exploded, and now he was a household name. Reporters started asking about his beef with ICP, and that's when ICP had enough. They decided to fire back with their own diss, a track called Slim, aimed squarely at Eminem. By 2000, Eminem had dropped his second album, and he wasn't holding back. On Marshall Mathers, he aimed bar after bar straight at ICP and even included a wild skit called Ken Kaniff that was fully dedicated to mocking them. ICP clapped back with multiple diss tracks, but their loudest shot was Nothing But a Bitch Thing, a direct answer to Eminem's attacks on Marshall Mathers. The two sides kept throwing shade for years until someone stepped in to calm the storm. That someone was Proof, Eminem's best friend and one of the most respected peacemakers in Detroit. Proof came up with the strangest yet smartest way to end the feud. He set up a bowling match between D12 and ICP. the game squashed the beef, and believe it or not, these days Eminem and ICP are on cool terms. And Proof wasn't just fixing that beef, he also patched things up between Eminem's other close friend, Royce da 5'9", and D12. Royce had been cool with M since the 90s, but tension built when he fell out with some of the D12 crew. He even dropped disses at them, sometimes mentioning Eminem too. But fate had its way. Proof and Royce ended up arrested at the same time on weapon charges, and while locked up, they actually talked things through and reconciled. Sadly, Proof passed away not long after, leaving a huge hole in Detroit hip-hop. But thanks to him, Royce and Eminem, along with the rest of D12, found their way back together as close friends, and that bond still stands strong today. Royce da 5'9" once stood on the opposite side of M in a beef, only to circle back as one of his closest allies. But here's the twist. There's another story just like it, only in reverse. It's all about this guy.
I'm my favorite rapper alive. Since my favorite rapper banned me from Shade 45, I wonder.
Machine Gun Kelly. At first, MGK was just another young rapper who idolized Eminem. He openly said, "That's my idol." But things flipped quick. It all started with one tweet where MGK mentioned Eminem's daughter. And honestly, it came off a little creepy. Even though he tried to backpedal by saying he meant no disrespect and even called M the king, the damage was done. Eminem didn't see it as respect. He saw it as a straight-up violation. Fast forward to 2018, M drops Kamikaze, and on the track Not Alike, he finally aims a diss at MGK. Instead of backing down, MGK celebrated because he knew this was his moment in the spotlight. Not long after, he fired back with Rap Devil, a direct shot at Eminem where he brought up M's daughter again and accused him of trying to shelve his career. He even rapped about Paul Rosenberg supposedly blocking him. The scope, how you had Paul Rosenberg trying to shelf me. The hip-hop world went into shock. MGK had actually taken on the rap god. But Eminem wasn't going to let that slide. Just 1 week later, he unleashed Kill Shot, a diss so sharp that the public immediately crowned it superior to Rap Devil. The verdict was clear. Eminem had the upper hand. Some said Kill Shot crushed Rap Devil because Eminem had a way bigger fan base. Others argued it was just technically the better diss, sharper, colder, and way more precise. But one thing's for sure, MGK made the same mistake as so many before him, dragging Haley's name into the crossfire. And that's a line you don't cross with M, which is why he went after MGK so aggressively. Even after the smoke from the tracks cleared, the feud didn't die. The two kept trading shots in interviews, concerts, and even sneak disses in songs. But for MGK, this battle ended up being a career-defining moment. His follow-up projects like Binge EP and Hotel Diablo LP pulled some attention, but by his own standards, they underperformed. The shadow of the beef was still looming over him, and it seemed to weigh down his rap career. That's when MGK made a bold pivot. He switched lanes completely, diving into pop, punk, and rock. He even revamped his entire look to match this new wave. A lot of people mocked him, saying he only switched genres because Eminem pushed him out of rap. But here's the twist. His pop-punk era actually became the biggest success of his career. So yeah, you could argue MGK fell off as a rapper, but as a celebrity overall, nah. He's still thriving, just in a totally different lane.